Okay, let's talk about one of the most debated images in all of biblical prophecy, the return of Jesus Christ. Right at the heart of that whole story is the single, powerful image, clouds. But what do they really mean? Are they just a metaphor, some kind of symbol? Or could it be something way more direct? Well, we're about to dive into an argument for a surprisingly literal interpretation. And it all kicks off right here with this incredibly famous verse from Revelation. I mean, it paints this picture of a huge, dramatic event that everyone on Earth is going to see. But here's the fascinating part. This prophecy, it isn't actually brand new. To really get what's going on, we've got to look back a bit. So let's look at the prophecy in the clouds. This one sentence, man, it's fueled so much discussion over the years, and for good reason. Many believe it holds a major key to understanding the second coming. Okay, so how do we unpack this first? Well, to really get what's being said, you have to see it for what it is. It's like this brilliant tapestry, weaving together threads from prophecies that are even older. And you can see that weaving right here. I mean, check this out. That phrase, coming with the clouds, that's not new. It's an echo of what Jesus himself said to the high priest in the Gospel of Matthew. And the part about those who pierced him, that's pulled straight from the Old Testament prophet Zechariah. So you see, Revelation 1:7 isn't just some new vision out of the blue. Nope. It's actually the fulfillment of prophecies that go back centuries. All right, so we know where the words come from, but that just brings us to the biggest question of all, the central debate. Are they literal or are they figurative? What do these words actually mean? And this is the question, the one that really divides people. When it says clouds, are we talking about real, actual clouds? The fluffy white things up in the sky? Or is this all just poetic language, a symbol for something totally different? So you've got two main camps here. On one side, there's the figurative view. For them, the clouds could be a symbol for, say, divine glory, or maybe a whole host of angels. But the argument we're digging into today, it pushes back on that. It says, no, this is much more direct. It's a literal meaning. Jesus is going to physically show up in the sky with actual physical clouds. And according to this perspective, the crucial point is basically this. Stop looking for hidden meanings. The argument is that the passage means just what it says. You don't need to decode it. The simplest, most straightforward reading is the right one. It's not some deep allegory, it's meant to be a direct description of something that's going to happen. Okay, so if we're supposed to take this literally, where's the proof, right? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The argument points to a completely different event. Not his return, but his departure. The big clue for understanding how Jesus will come back is supposedly hidden in the story of how he left. I want you to picture the scene from the book of Acts. First, Jesus is taken up, right before the disciples' very eyes. They're just staring into the sky. And then a cloud literally hides him from their sight. Poof, he's gone. So as they're standing there, probably totally confused, two angels suddenly appear right beside them. And these angels, they're about to deliver the message that becomes the absolute cornerstone for this entire argument. And here it is. This is the absolute core of the evidence for the literal view. The angels make this incredibly specific promise. The key phrase? In the same way. That little phrase connects everything. It creates this perfect, symmetrical link between how he left and how he's coming back. The way he departed becomes the blueprint for the way he'll return. So let's talk about the takeaway. When you put the story of the ascension right next to the prophecy from Revelation, the whole argument just clicks. It becomes crystal clear. Think about his departure. How did he go? He was taken up and a real physical cloud hid him from view. It was something people actually saw happen. And that brings us to his return. The logic just completes the circle. If he's coming back in the same way that he left, well, then his return has to be a physical event too, one that involves physical clouds. It's a really powerful, perfectly symmetrical argument. Okay, so let's just quickly recap the whole argument here. It all starts with that prophecy in Revelation 1:7, a return with the clouds. The argument we've been looking at says, hey, this is literal, not figurative. And the big clue? It's all in the story of the ascension. He left hidden by a real cloud, right? And the angels promised he'd be back in the same way. It draws a straight line from his departure to his return. And all of this really leaves us with one last big question to think about. If the way he returns is meant to be a direct mirror of how he left, well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other prophecies, the ones we usually brush off as just symbolic, might actually be a lot more literal than we think? It's a question that kind of challenges us to go back and maybe reread some of these ancient texts with a whole new perspective.